Hello, everybody. Well, I'm back again, and I'm going to sit there and talk about how it all started. Because once I tell you from the very beginning of how everything just went, you'll understand probably a lot more if I was to just talk about my experience as an addict itself. Every addict has an underlying reason or thought process behind why they started or why they picked up the drug to begin with. So, today I'm going to talk to you about my first child that I had. I have four. I have two older boys and two younger girls. And no, I do not have custody of them. I am working on it. But it started with me getting pregnant with my oldest. I had a lot of complications throughout that pregnancy. I ended up with pancreatitis and my gallbladder full of gallstones at 5 months pregnant. Well, I ended up having to go in the hospital. I ended up getting hospitalized and was in there for a good month before I had my son. And he was just about 2 months preemie. But in the hospital, I was in so much pain that they started me on the Dilaudid, which is one of the highest pain meds you can get. So, I was on that for a good month and a half. And my doctor kept upping it every time I would get used to it, and it wouldn't work, or it would wear off quickly. Like within an hour to between an hour and 2 hours, it was wearing off, which it should never have. So she would keep upping it. Well, any nurse in their right mind would know that you normally are only supposed to give 0.05 every 4 hours. Well, 4 to 6 hours. I, on the other hand, was getting 2.0 every 2.5 to 3 hours by the end of my hospital stay. So, my son was fine, didn't go through withdrawals, came out perfectly healthy, cried once after they brought him out, and that's about it. I had to have a C-section, obviously, because with all the pain and everything, I could not push. Which, it was scary because it was my first pregnancy, my first true surgery, I should say. So, after I had my son, I went home and noticed that I kept getting hot and cold, and I was getting sick. I was still throwing up like I had morning sickness, to find out that it was withdrawals. I didn't know what withdrawal was at the time. So, when they sent me home with my son, they sent me home on some pain pills, which were Loratabs. And I was supposed to take them every 6 hours. And ibuprofen in between if I needed it. Well, because I wasn't in the hospital and I thought, okay, well, I'm in pain and it's only been 3 hours. Well, me being in the hospital, they were giving me the pain meds every 3 hours, so I was taking my pain pills every 3 hours. Well, I ended up starting to run out of them, and the doctor was upping the dose that I was put on before when I got home, so that way I wouldn't have to take it every 3 hours. Well, once the doctor, about 2.5 to 3 months later, the doctor started trying to get me to come off of them. Nope, I couldn't. I was the beginning of my addiction. My ex-husband at the time also had a back injury. He herniated 4 discs in his lower back from what he did for working. He was our garbage man. And at that time, they didn't have totes or anything. It was just the normal garbage cans. So he would pick them up and toss them in the garbage. Well, I noticed that he would give me some of his at the time because of the fact that I couldn't get off of them without having that withdrawal feeling, which is not pleasant. It does absolutely horrific things to you, depending on how you react to it and how your body is. At that time, I was a very big baby with pain. Couldn't handle it at all. So I ended up going back to work so that way we could have money after paying our bills to go and get some off the street. Which, yes, is illegal and dumb. So, my advice to anybody that has started or is starting, get off of it. It is the worst thing you can start ever. It ruined my life for the worst, not the good. I decided, well, both me and my ex-husband decided we were going to get them off the streets. So that way I could take care of my son and get up and do my daily, well, at that time they weren't called chores, my daily routine, I would say. And it just got worse. So when I went back to work, I was working in a nursing facility. And I helped a gentleman from the floor to his bed that had dementia. I worked in the dementia unit. And, excuse me, he fell off the bed. I got him back up on it by myself, nonetheless. I didn't have anybody help me because the girl that was working with me left the unit to go flirt with a kid in the front desk area. Well, I ended up pulling 2 discs in my lower back, my L3 and L4. Well, I didn't know that it was hurting me until the next, a day or 2 afterwards. And I went to get it looked at, and that's when I found out. So I had to start being careful. Well, after I got hurt, guess what medication they put me on? Yep, they put me back on the Lortabs because that was what worked for me. And because I wanted them. Well, it was about a year and a half later, my ex-husband, started mentally and emotionally abusing me. That's when the ball dropped and all hell broke loose. For the next 11 years of my marriage, it just got worse after that and continued to get worse. But again, I ended up finding out I was pregnant with my second kid, my second son. And it helped with our relationship a little. That's going to be on another video. I'll explain my marriage and all that crap in my next vlog. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. And then I will tell you guys in my next vlog about what happened with my second son. So stay tuned. Stay upbeat. Stay bubbly. And I will see you later. Peace.